Alright, guys. So, we need to talk, obviously. Because... fucking... current events, they suck. We all know this. It's horrible. I mean... a few months ago, we were in a global pandemic. I mean, we still are. We're still in a global pandemic. Like, we don't know when that's gonna totally end, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. We can go out and we don't have to, like, wear a mask pretty much everywhere we go. But, you know, a few weeks ago, or like a month ago, we're now in another, we're still in a global pandemic, and now we're in like a protest, in the midst of a protest in the U.S. all over, like smaller towns and cities probably aren't having their, you know, like whole demonstrations, but like there are still people protesting, even if it's online or anything like that. You're still talking about it. We're still involved, and it's ridiculous. Like the protest, obviously, perfectly fine. Like, it's definitely warranted that the protests are definitely needed. Because now rioting and looting, I'm not totally for or against rioting right now, because I don't really have the whole what I'm thinking. Rioting can work if it's not distracting from the actual point that we're trying to make, is that justice, and that everybody matters. Obviously, Black Lives Matter, everyone matters. But it just seems like the government doesn't seem too keen on, you know, treating black people and other minorities the same as white people. Now, that isn't to say that white people don't have their hardships and hard times, but it just seems like the government, they don't really care that much. And they kind of just let things go. Like, from cops. Let me make this more clear. Not just cops, like dirty cops and predatory cops overstepping and overreaching and using excessive amounts of force to control situations. And I don't think I don't think Derek will ever be. He is an opportunist. He is opportunistic. I still can't say that word right. And he should have never been on the force. But obviously, there's a bunch of things. It's like 8 weeks. He should have never been on. The main point is that he should never been on the force. He should have never been allowed to even get that far. And obviously he has gotten that far, so obviously, you know, we can't really do anything about that. And he has numerous complaints against him. He had numerous complaints against him I am assuming using excessive amounts of force during routine things that cops do. And now that someone actually got him on camera, now he's, he's been charged with, murder and manslaughter. But we have to wait until the actual trial to be charged. But is he gonna get a slap on the wrist and be like, oh, okay, don't do that again? Or is it actually gonna change and actually gonna have a cop? I don't think let's say a dirty cop. A cop overreaching his bounds and using excessive amount of force, resulting in the death of a guy, resulting in Floyd's death. Like, if he did it right, if he did everything right, and if he listened to the paramedic that was the bystander who said she was a paramedic and said to check the pulse, he could have been alive. Obviously, he's not. I'm on the side that peaceful protests definitely do that, because that pragmatically seems like more of a right approach to sending a message. But I think rioting can also lead to that, the same thing. If it doesn't just seem like random acts of violence, and it's actually for a point that you're trying to make, which, I don't know, I'm still not keen on rioting. It just seems a little bit too excessive to me. And it seems too distracting. Because, because the cops and governments are gonna try to disperse rioting. And then the protests and the whole message of the protesting, peaceful and rioting, they just keep becoming synonymous with each other. And then nothing ever really happens. So I think we need to choose one. We need to choose either we're going to riot or we're going to choose peaceful. We're not going to do both. We need to make it clear that this is what we want. And if we don't get it, it's going to keep going on. Not like peacefully protest. We're going to keep peacefully protesting. We're going to keep, blocking the streets. We're going to keep demonstrating with signs and stuff like that for justice, for a change. And if you're going the rioting route, it needs to be so much more clear, because you're definitely you're gonna run into more problems when you're rioting. If we're gonna do anything violent, whether it be vandalism, well, I guess that's the only sort of rioting that would be sort of acceptable, because assaulting cops is not gonna do anything but make you a criminal, make you a criminal, and give them a reason to arrest you. And if the cops are instigating fights and start hitting hitting peaceful protesters. That's on them. They need to get their precincts and their counties and whatever needs to get them under control, so they can be more effective in keeping the peace and protecting people, because their job is to protect people. It's not to beat people up. It's not to terrorize people. And part of under civilian protection is we have the right to protest. Now, do we have the right to riot? No. That's why peaceful protests seem like a more pragmatic approach to getting the point across that we're wanting change. That we want the government to see black people and other minorities as equal and not cannon fodder for dirty cops who just want to play cop to enforce the law to keep people safe. Like, you wouldn't see you wouldn't see the average cop going out and doing like a routine traffic stop and pulling someone out of the car and start beating them. Like, would they even be charged? Would they be charged if it was a black person they pulled out? I don't know. They could probably just use, oh, yeah, he seemed, suspicious. Like, it's so easy to become a victim when you're black or another minority, when you're black, because the law doesn't treat you the same. Because our human rights have been violated for years, decades. We're seen as, easy targets, where we should all just be seen as people, not targets to be fed to wild vigilantes and dirty cops because they got bored one day and then they want to exercise some power over people, and then they do shit like kneeling on some guy's neck or shooting people without an actual cause to do so. Like, why? What is your point? What's the point of shooting? What's the point of shooting someone unarmed? You have a taser for a reason. I'm like, why is the state issuing tasers to cops? And then why aren't they using them to dirty cops? When I say cops, I mean dirty cops. Why are they not using them? If they're really that scared, use a taser. If they're running at you in a threatening manner, use a taser. Drop them. They're like, are you kidding me? I know cops that carry tasers have to be tased by them. If it can drop you guys, it can definitely drop a black guy. It can definitely drop another white guy. Yeah, bigger guys. It'll drop them. Like, it's not the movies. We're not super powered beasts that can just withstand, I don't know how many volts police grade taser is. But we're not superhuman. We can't just withstand and be able to stand up. And plus, you guys usually have, the dirty cops usually have partners with them who also carry tasers. Use your tasers. If they're running at you, if they're resisting arrest, Are you kidding me? You've been trained. Have you not been trained into subdue your target? Like, the gun should be the last resort. The gun should be for an actually dangerous thing. If they're armed and dangerous with a gun, obviously not every time. You're not gonna know it every single time, and genuinely not know that if they have a gun or not. You're not gonna know if you could be shot or not. And so, yeah, I don't know. Just, it shouldn't have. This shouldn't be coming from a 21-year-old telling cops how to do their jobs. Like, I'm assuming you've been trained into knowing what to do. Like, if you're not, I can go ask my cousin. I can ask my cousin if you guys get actual training. I can ask some family friends, if you have training. Yeah, maybe training might vary from state or to city to city or whatever, but for the most part, I feel like the training should be similar. And then the dirty cops should obviously, if they're not using their training, they're not using their knowledge, and they're just using excessive amounts of force, like talking to the precincts and talking to the employers, which I guess is the state, but talking to people higher ups in charge of your grunt workers, of the cops under you. If any of these cops are considered to be dirty cops, using excessive amounts of force, getting complaint after complaint after complaint, then you're probably going to want to cut them loose, because they're going to start shit like this over and over, and it makes it worse for everybody else. Like, cut them loose. They are replaceable. Charge them. Charge them with murder. Charge them with manslaughter. Like, you have the training, you know what to do, but you're choosing not to use it. You're choosing to dismiss the advice from paramedics. Well, not advice. Choosing demands from paramedics on the scene, and to say, oh, he's fine. He can talk, he's fine. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? Like, they're choosing not to, they're choosing the wrong way over and over and over. It's fucked up. That's why we have peaceful protests. That's why we have rioters. All this could have been avoided if we had good cops that know what to do and choose to actually follow the law, and more qualified people to me. But I just wanted to put my voice out there, because as even half black, I'm still considered black. Yes, I have privilege because of where I live, and because of my economic status, and because of my mother. Like, I still have privilege, but other people aren't afforded. Other people don't have that sort of privilege. And I want to use what privilege I have to, at least help other people. Because I'm tired of predators and dirty cops and dumb shit like this that shouldn't happen. I will see you all guys later with some more videos. Probably not pertaining to this because there are other people far more qualified to talk about this than I am. I will see you all guys next time. Just be nice to each other, I guess. Help each other out. Wear your mask until this is over. Wear your mask. Keep people safe.